on, y'all? It's your boy JH Gibbons here.
And I'm Will C.
And welcome to yet another episode of the Achromous Podcast, episode 37.
37.
I was
almost there. I was like, ooh
37. You almost lost count, right?
Yeah.
37 straight weeks to the Achromous Podcast. If this is your very first time watching the Achromous Podcast on YouTube, I want you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that every single time the Achromous Podcast drops a new episode, you will be one of the first to see it. And most of all,
it's free.
I can't believe
Yes.
How are we giving this away for free?
We are in a country where at least something such as this greatness is free.
That is
so
weird.
Please do all those things Jay said. Subscribe, guys. We need you to do that. Follow the content. If you believe in what we're putting out there, you're part of that movement and resonate with healthy habits and building it, and want to get some extra gems in your life, continue to check us out. Subscribe again.
Amazing. Happy Sunday, brother.
Happy Sunday to you too, sir.
It's been a while.
Okay.
We died.
We died.
I don't know.
I don't know. We
Let's
do
do
both. For both people.
There
who
we
don't
go.
know.
All right.
Nice.
We're in it.
Good. Now we do that.
Yeah, there we go. We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been quite the week, man. You know, there's been a lot going on, of course, with work and life is always going to be stressful, right? But I gotta say, man, last week's episode, understanding how to use those time management strategies. It's weird because we say this every single week, right? We always talk about the strategies. We always talk about the gems that we put out there. Yeah. And we also use it in our own lives. And we're able to take note and see, okay, maybe we can tweak this. We can, mess with that a little bit. But honestly, this week, all 5 of those things worked out. I got to say, I mean, I had my list. I started on Monday with my list. Each and every day I was able to get through all the things I needed to, including Friday, which was clean out my inbox. And I think I had like 675 plus emails that needed to be filed somewhere. Not that they were new, but they just needed to be filed. And I was able to get that done based on the time management strategies I put in place. So that really helped. I'm sure you were able to implement those time strategies in your life.
Yes, I did. Actually, I did. I improvised on what you mentioned last week as well about the time, about breaking down the list and just utilizing that to get your task completed. So that really helped me tremendously in the early part of the week. And things got a little hazy towards the end, but just adjust, adapt, evolve. That process, that method is what helped me get through that part of the week, transitioning to get to now. But each thing that we talk on really comes to life. Like art imitates life, life imitates art. So it feels that way. So this week was definitely the epitome of that. And you see my calendar. I showed you what my calendar looks like. I was insane.
That was ridiculous.
That's my life.
I always ask you, how do you actually get things done if you're in meetings?
I just exist sometimes, and I find a way to live. But I managed, and it was a trying week. But we got through it with those tools. It really did come into fruition, and it was extremely helpful for me. So we hope it was helpful for you guys out there as well.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's sometimes I'm a pretty low key dude. I'm a pretty chill guy. But there are times at work where I have to shout, right? You got to scream, you got to get aggressive, you got to use your voice sometimes. And, this week, my voice is just a little bit scratchy, which is why I got some core hydration water here, because it is absolutely needed. But look, I mean, besides me using my voice and, using my voice to be able to direct, to be able to push people in a specific direction.
Yes.
We've been able to have a guest on our podcast this Sunday who also uses her voice for a very different opportunity.
Yes.
Is able to use her voice to sing and I mean, I listened to a lot of what her and the mamas have been doing. It's been incredible. She is an incredible talent.
Yes.
She started touring very, very young, touring around the world, started singing around 7. She is a native Washingtonian, of course. Shout out to the DMV. But she is all the way in Sweden now. Yeah. Man, I tell you what a change that is. I know it has to be one. I know she has a single right now from the EP. It was released a couple weeks ago. It's called That's Okay. She's also now a vocalist in a group called the Mamas, and her EP rather will be released soon with the group. But right now we want to get a chance to chop it up and connect and build with none other than Miss Ash Haynes. Ash, how we doing today?
The crowd goes wild.
Yeah. Welcome to the Achromous Podcast. It is a pleasure to have you on this Sunday.
I'm happy to be here. I'm so proud of you guys. I love what you're doing. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Ash. And, you know, we always love to start off in the Achromous podcast by learning more about how our guests started in what they're doing now.
Yeah.
So, Ash, how did you start in this era, in this realm of singing and being a vocalist? Where did you start?
Of course, I have a strong gospel music church background. My grandfather was a pastor of a church called Zion Hill. He passed away, but that's where I started singing. And of course, my mom always sang to me as a baby. So I guess it just came naturally. And from then on, I mean, I started singing there, and then I started touring when I was 8 years old. I joined a choir called the Children's Gospel Choir of America. And the first place we went, I think, was Paris, France. And I was telling Jamal, but when I was auditioning for that choir, I went home and I told my mom, I'm going to go to Europe. I'm going to be in a choir that's going to tour Europe. And she did not believe me. She was like, girl, what you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. You ain't going to know Europe. How do you even know what Europe is? But I made the choir. I started touring. We toured every year up until 9/11. And then everything kind of calmed down for me. I went to Duke Ellington School of the Arts, and I studied vocal music while I was there. I stayed there up until 10th grade, and I transferred to Edison, Friendship Edison. That's why I know you're.
That's the connection. We were talking about it before. She's like, man, I swear I've known somewhere, but where is it? That's the connection.
Like met, but I don't remember you in school. I'm sure you don't remember me. I was pretty like quiet and low, but yeah, that's cool.
Small world.
It is. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I just started working like regular jobs, like in the government, call centers, things like that. And I started also having my own like solo career, as well as singing background for different artists in the DMV area, and also some established artists, mainstream artists like Glenn Jones. You probably don't know who that is. He's a little before your time.
You got me there. All right. Yeah. Educate myself.
And the Zach Brown Band, and Orlando Dixon, who is also a local native of Washington, D.C., and just different gigs here and there, and also singing in the go-go realm, D.C. You know, you gotta love your dough. You gotta have your dough.
You know,
of course,
absolutely.
Something new.
And then, and now I'm here in Sweden, still singing.
And we love to hear it. We love to hear it. I did hear you mention, at least initially, that your mom probably wasn't too much on board, especially with you touring at such a young age, but that didn't seem to deter you or stop you at all. I want to know if you had any sort of emotional feeling when she wasn't necessarily behind you at that time, or maybe she was more afraid of what you were going to transition into because of the doubt that she may have had in her mind. Did that deter you at all?
I think I was so young. I was 8 years old. And I was always determined, like even as a young kid, like I was always going to do what I wanted to do. And the fact that my mom was like, girl, what you talking about? It didn't deter me at all. I was still going to audition. I was still going to, I believed that I was going to get there. And I didn't need my mom to be like, oh, yes, you're going to Europe. And it wasn't that she wasn't supportive, because once she found out that it was real, she was like, oh, she knew what she was talking about. And she was, but I've always had that like determination since I was a kid, like been very independent and very sure of myself.
Wow. Wow. So a lot of us we're all born with different talents. Sometimes we realize it later on in life, or for some, they never realize it at all.
Very true.
But for you, you were able to realize it at such a young age, and then to be able to understand how to use it and cultivate it and harness it. How did you end up understanding that you had this talent that somebody else or many other people didn't have?
To be honest, I mean, of course, when I was little and I started singing, I always wanted to sing and I always wanted to be the center of attention and things like that. But, you know, as you grow up, the world starts to tell you you aren't good enough or whatever. So I had that phase as well. I wasn't I mean, of course I started out and I was super confident. I think we all do as kids. We're all like, I can do this. But then the world got to me and I was kind of like, no, I'm not good enough. My voice isn't good enough. And what got me through as I got older and it was my relationship with God and knowing that I am who he says I am, not what the world says I am. And these qualities or these gifts that I have aren't really for me. They're actually for the world and for me to give back.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think I answered your question. What was your question again?
Yeah, it was how were you able to really understand that your talent is something that you could use to help others, to change the world? How were you able to cultivate that? Because starting at such a young age singing, you know, it's like, you know, you have a voice, right? You know, you're different. But then sometimes there's some people who may get off track, who may move away from the talents that they have in order to do exactly what the world is, you know, trying to push you to do. But you decided, hey, that's not something I want to stick to. I know I have something here that God has blessed me with. How were you able to understand that at such a young age and then use that to propel yourself to where you are now?
I just had to learn to not lean on my own understanding of things, because if it were up to me, then I would have given up so many times. But because I was diligent in my devotions and my prayers and everything, I think that really, really helped cultivate, you know, me knowing what I'm here to do, what my purpose is. So I'd have to say, yeah, it really had nothing to do with me, partly, but mostly to do with God and my relationship and my consistency in that.
That's dope. That's dope, Ash. So to me, it sounds like so your bass, as I like to focus on mantras a lot and affirmations. Your bass is your faith. Your faith has been consistent from childhood to adulthood, and on your journey within your career, and just knowing who you are, right? So in knowing what your base is, what are the habits that you've built that are healthy for yourself now to keep it consistent? Because we all hit those moments where we aren't our best selves, as we know, right?
Absolutely.
And I think it's important to recognize what that looks like in those seasons, as I call them seasons, right? So in those moments where it requires a gut check, and knowing that you have your base to fall on, it keeps you afloat. But what are some other methods that you utilize to kind of keep Ash going?
I journal a lot. I have to literally write down what makes you happy, what makes you feel good, what brings you peace. And that really helps me to, even when I go back and read those things, because like you said, we have those seasons. Of course, I have my faith. Of course, I have, sound of mind, but we're human. And I do have those times where I haven't been maybe diligent in my devotionals, because I do devotion every morning. I know that when I don't feel that God is near, and I don't feel that good things are near. So just that, journaling, making sure that my thoughts are good, because that also plays a really big part. I'm human, so they ain't always good. Always, sometimes I get off track and I'm really down on myself and not really feeling my best. But at the end of the day, I know that you said something outside of faith, but ultimately that's it for me. That's what gets me through, honestly.
Well, those are good.
think anything else could. Journaling, and doing things that I love, and realizing that, life isn't it isn't problematic. Not if you don't make it problematic, and you deserve to live in ease, to live with peace. So, I have those realizations, and then I snap out of it, like, okay, back, we're back.
That's good. That's good. Be the peace you seek.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. And what's funny? Whenever we do talk about habits, I always, for whatever reason, go back to like brushing your teeth, right? Every single morning we brush our teeth, and we do without even thinking about it. It's like, all right, go in the bathroom, brush my teeth, get the Listerine going, all that stuff. Now imagine that one day you got rushed out, you got a meeting at work that you're late for because your alarm clock didn't go off, and you forgot to brush your teeth. Your whole day is wrecked just because of that. The work may not get done. You're in a bad mood. Your mouth feels bad. Like, it's crazy, the power of habits. And I understand fully the power of journaling, to be able to write all the things down, to be able to really understand yourself, because sometimes, just sitting there and thinking is not enough. Getting it down on paper, making it written, making it known, making it real allows yourself to understand who you are and what your purpose is. So journaling is something that I think is a really, really great habit to have.
And I wasn't always like that. I didn't always think that I needed to journal until the first time I did. And it was like breakthrough for me. And it wasn't even like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to journal. No, it was like accidentally. Like, I was like, I'm pissed off and I can't tell this person how I feel, so I'm going to write it down. And from there, it just kept evolving into, not really feelings of other people, but about me and what I want out of life. So
that's deep. That's deep. Yeah. Journaling, same here. I do it occasionally. When I got into it was when I wasn't really, I done it when I was younger, but when I wasn't my best self and I was going through what I was dealing with, it was a big part of being truthful with myself. And I approached it from a perspective of like, okay, what I put, I won't think. I put those emotions and I just speak to myself. So I would address it to, hey, you. Right. And I would just have these conversations with myself about what I felt, like you, Ash, with maybe different people, or and then with time I realized it was more about me, not them. And I was like, ooh, okay, all right, yeah, you got some work to do, buddy.
There's nothing better than that realization, man, that you're like, oh, okay, this is all right, this is where I need to be. Wow. And you did mention, it wasn't always like that. You got there accidentally. So that must mean that there had to be challenges that you had to overcome prior to getting to that point of understanding exactly what your purpose was and where you were going. Do you mind sharing some of the challenges that you've had to overcome in your journey?
Definitely. I mean, I'm a big woman and I've been a plus size person all my life. So that's always been something that's like weighed on me and made me feel less than, or I have those seasons of feeling less than. I've had those. And then growing up, again, you have the world and you have people who tell you you aren't good enough or you can't do it, or even yourself. Like for me, it was me believing those people that told me that I was average at best, and functioning as that. Functioning as, I'm average, I'll get by, just really not believing in myself. And it all stemmed from me being overweight. So I don't think journaling started that. I think it was me realizing that no matter my struggle with nutrition, I am still boss. I'm required to love myself. I'm here for that reason. God did not give us free will for us not to use it. And then that free will, I need to love myself. I'm here for a reason. Like, why not? Even in my struggles, even in the things that, aren't my strong suit, I still have to go on. I still have to live. I still have to love myself because I want to show the world love. I want to love other people. I want to love my family, so yeah, that's one of my struggles is still to this day, I still struggle with nutrition and like trying to make the best choices for myself. I'm not like everybody else. It doesn't work for me like how it works for other people. I made a trip home recently, June, July, and I have not told anybody this, just because at first I was very ashamed, but I was diagnosed with diabetes when I was home, and that really like kind of shook me. Like, even though I wasn't like crazy out here just eating whatever, I don't think that I was diligent in my movement, like just walking, So it really shook me, and it was like, okay, now this is your wake up call, and what are you gonna do to make the changes in your life so that you can live and you can maximize on what life has to offer. So I still have those down times where I'm not feeling 100%, but at the end of the day, the end all be all is that I love myself, and I have to do this. I have to do this for myself. So yeah. Prayer, of course, journaling, of course, and also talking to people, having a therapist, I've always been very private and very like, when I face adversity, I tend to internalize and just be, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but isolate. I isolate. But coming out of that and realizing that it's okay to, be free and talk to people and tell them your truth, and it really is a release. Like it's super like, I don't know. You start to get to know a side of yourself that you never knew existed. I always thought that I would be private and like, not just isolate and everything, but it's really freeing to get to know this side of me and let people in. So it's therapeutic. Really it's getting me through.
That's awesome, Ash.
That's awesome. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, there is something different about self-love, man. When you
recognize it,
yes, it is something so powerful. And having a community of people, friends, family, whomever, who can surround you and show you that love, show you that you are worth it, even though you're showing yourself that as well. It is also so powerful. And I'm sure with the mamas, I know that that is a group that shows that power and that shows that community. And you, even before we went live on the podcast, you said, regardless of what happens, we know that we're in this for the long haul. We know that we're going to stick together. So I kind of want to understand exactly how the mamas came about. How did you guys start? Where did you meet? And how did you get to where you are now with the mamas?
Okay, so I was telling you off of this that before I got the call to come here to sing background for someone, my prayer had been, God, if singing in the DMV is it for me, then you can take it away. I don't want to do music anymore. Not 2 weeks later, I got the call to come and sing background for John Lundvik. John Lundvik is a pop-ish, I think mainstream pop artist in Sweden. And he was competing in a competition that they have here called Melodifestivalen. And I was just coming to sing background for him. That was it. I got the call on a Tuesday. I was working my regular job. I got the call. They asked me to send some, music, photos and everything. I did. They called me right back and was like, can you fly out tomorrow? And I was like, no, I have to ask my job. I didn't have my passport renewed. So I was like, what am I going to do? Am I going to be able to do this? So I asked them, can you give me until Friday? They were like, yeah, we can give it to you Friday. But once you get here, you're working. It's no like downtime. So I was like, fine, I don't care about that. That's fine. So that day I went, I got my passport renewed. I asked for a leave of absence at work. They said, fine. I came, I met the girls. It was just like, you know how you meet people and you're just like, I like you.
Yeah.
You're cool. The one that I met was Lulu. She's I don't know, she's the shorter one. Okay. She's taller than me, but shorter than the other one. And she, me and her just hit it off. And then there was 4 mamas at first. And the 4th one is the one that called me to get me the gig. But we just met. We clicked. The guy that we were singing for, amazing guy. The music was just, the way that we sounded together was just like, okay, really good. So that was that. We did the competition. Once we did the competition, he got through to the finals. The finals weren't until like 3 weeks later. So I came home and I wanted to take off of work again. And I went to them. I asked my supervisor if I could take another leave of absence. It'll probably just be for like a week. But if he wins, then we're going to be going to another competition called Eurovision. This is the biggest competition ever in Europe, like biggest song competition in Europe. It's called Eurovision. And if he wins Melody Festival, and then we'll go to Israel is where it was going to be.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys are open to that. I would love to come back because I was doing really good at that job. Like I was moving up and I was really a good part of the team. They loved me. They told me no. And so since they told me no, I quit that same day. But before I quit, I was so apprehensive. Like I was so like, I don't know if I'm going to do this. Like I'm going to be away from my family. I'm not going to have this financial backing. Like I was good financially. I had everything, all my ducks in a row. So I was like, I don't know if I can do this, but I did. I quit. And then we went to Mello, the finals, we won. So then we got to go to Eurovision in Israel. And while we were in Israel, oh man, like the label, his management asked if we would want to be a group. And the 3 of us were like, hell yeah, like, yeah, why not? Like, we love singing together. Why not? But, you know, people talk and they ask questions that you don't really, sometimes you question it like, they're not serious, but they were dead ass serious. So, yeah, after Eurovision, we didn't win. We came in, I think it was 5th or 7th place. But after that, we went on tour with him. It was a European, Scandinavian type of tour that we did with him. And then the rest is history. I mean, we got together, we started doing corporate gigs here and there. We had a Christmas concert. It was spectacular. And then we entered the same competition on our own.
Wow.
So we entered the competition as the Mamas. It was huge. It was amazing. We won.
What?
We were scheduled to go to Rotterdam. However, Corona hit.
Oh.
Vision was canceled.
Gosh.
COVID.
Dreams were shot.
Oh my gosh.
Once we realized that it was canceled, I think it took us all like a week. We were like, of course, we were all just so emotional, crying, like couldn't believe that we got so close and it was just taken away from us by something nobody can really control. So I don't know. I think that also helped me to get my mind over it. Like, it is what it is. And then since we had just gotten together, if we would have gone to Eurovision that year and won, we would have had no material to tour with because we just got together. So, yeah, that's that. We did it again, 2021. We came in 3rd place. And that's that. We're really excited working. The contract, like I said, it does end in 2022, but we have every intention of like continuing this because we've been able to do what we love to do and also spread love and just hope for people. Like we're so different. We are different from each other, but we're different from what you see in pop culture. So it's like representation is everything. And I think the world needs it. So we have every intention of staying together and doing what we do. So yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, to be able to take that risk once again, right? To be able to say, okay, I'm working, got a job, but man, this is my calling. This is where I need to go. I'm going to see you later, job. I know exactly where I need to be, right? And then to get into that competition, to then join with the Mamas and re-enter that competition and get even higher than before. That shows determination. As you said, you've had it since you were 7. So it's something that you knew that you were going to continue to push and push and push and build these habits along the way to get you to where you are today, which is a successful vocalist in a group. That is absolutely amazing. I mean, on the Achromous Podcast, each and every week, I mean, to be able to allow our community to see this success, it's very motivational. It's inspirational, most of all. And because it is someone who is still growing, who is still honing their own craft, who is still developing, it allows our community to say, man, I can do that. That can also be me.
Very true.
What is stopping me from joining that journey now? What is stopping me from taking those risks? She took a risk. She was able to develop that and get her dreams to where they need to be. What's stopping me? So I love that story that you told, the story of inspiration, of determination, of taking calculated risks, and then success at the end of it. That is the story that we love to tell.
Right. Very true. So Ash, I would just ask from your perspective then, like if you can give any advice to anyone out there from your experiences, what would you say to someone? What would you say to someone who's looking to take that step or beginning the step of self-love, that process, and, just believing in their own abilities, whatever that may be in life? What advice would you give them?
Of course, the cliche, like believe in yourself, but like, really, really take it one day at a time, and don't beat yourself up for setting goals and possibly not reaching them, because every day is a new beginning. Like, and just go for it. Like, live your best life, whatever that is for you. Like, cliche stuff like love yourself, but really like, figure out who you are and what you're here to do. And I say, go about that by affirmations in the morning, talking to God, praying, and being diligent in that. Because it really, really, really changes your life. It really helps, and you'll start to feel that God is right there with you. So just live your best life. I love you. This is what I would tell people.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yes.
If I could do it, you could do it. Just go for it and take a leap. Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome. You only have your now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, tomorrow's promised to nobody.
Oh yeah, the seconds of the next is the unknown.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't wait until you feel like you got to be 100% or you got to be the best at something to start that something.
Ooh, that's good.
We were talking about that earlier on, Ash. When we started the Achromous Podcast, it was sitting in the dark, no light, no microphone, no audience, nothing. Right? Started from scratch. You're like, yo, we just got to start. Let's just keep going. Then we reached episode 10. We're like, oh, all right, we're still doing this. Episode 20. Okay, here we are. And here we are at episode 37 with Ash. And it's like, we are continuing to all grow. And it's always so beautiful to see it.
Oh yeah. Grow as people, from the beginning to what we were doing. Even before we started the podcast, we were knee deep into ventures and just kind of this part of what we were doing and just preparation and not recognizing that inner growth that was going to happen from it is something personally I didn't realize was going to be a part of this journey and meeting so many people because of it and having folks that's DM me and having conversations to be able to help people from my personal journey and just taking that leap and just putting me out there and being a private person and using that as a form of artistry to help in my healing process and recognizing you make a difference because you matter because we're all here.
And for me, Will, and I messaged you a while back, I told you, like, it's super inspiring what you've been doing and what you've been sharing with us. So I'm so grateful. And then both of you with this podcast. I mean, the mamas are trying to do a podcast too. So I'm trying to.
Let's do it. We'll be there. You got our support.
Absolutely.
You guys are super inspiring, and I hope that you continue to do this. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a stepping stone to even greater. So
thank you so much.
Yes. I mean, we love to grow as a community. We love to grow with your community as well, internationally, even in this point, since you're coming to us all the way from Sweden, which we appreciate and we thank you for doing so. I think that's the one aspect with this podcast. As you said, it's growth as people, as an entity itself as well. And we couldn't do it without people like you as well.
Absolutely.
So we want to thank you for joining this podcast and being able to share your story with our audience. And again, I hope our communities also commingle and we continue to grow each other as well as we continue to go. So, man, I mean, it's been a journey to get to this point. And, we also in this episode talked about some of the stressful situations that we've all had to encounter in our lives, with Ash moving and, being in Sweden, leaving the job, really going forward, entering these competitions, getting out of that comfort zone. I know there had to be a lot of stress there. And, I'm sure with our audience and your audience as well, Ash, there are a lot of people out there who are trying to figure out exactly how they can lower their stress levels, right? What sort of effective strategies can they implement in their lives to lower their stress? So on episode 38 of the Achromous Podcast, we will be discussing 5 effective ways to lower your stress. And Ash, of course, you're more than welcome to watch that episode as well. And, and allow that to spread and blossom through your community as well as ours so that we can both continue to grow. We can both continue to follow our dreams and reach our destiny, which is all what we're here to fulfill.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Healthy habits along the way. And after management from the week prior to now, and just feeling more motivated and just feeling good and consistent in what's next to come. And thank you so much, Ash, for sharing. Couldn't wait. Honestly, could not wait. Super excited about it. So I feel inspired. Feel inspired.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was getting a little choked up there when she was talking about her story and the success that she found with taking that leap, because
it's a beautiful feeling.
There's so many people out there that are so afraid to take that leap. But for you to be able to do so, for you to be able to jump up and understand that this is where I belong, this is what I need to do. I have the strength of God behind me. I have the strength of community behind me, and nothing's going to stop me. And look at you now, And
even in fear, because there's fear.
In fear.
Just go.
Just go. Go. Yes.
That's
absolutely.
Infectious.
That's
right
beautiful. There. Yes. Well, Ash, I know you have a busy schedule. I know as a vocalist, you're out there practicing singing constantly. So we want to thank you once again for joining episode 37 of the Achromous Podcast. And we want to thank everyone out there for joining us this Sunday and watching this episode with Ash, with J.H. Gibbons, and with Will C.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes,
of course,
absolutely, and we have to have you back.
I was gonna say that.
We want to see more, and we want to be able to connect with you and the mamas. I think that would be an amazing episode to have.
Definitely. Email me, because we can all do this. The girls, we can do this. Why not?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And look, where can our community find you?
Yeah, definitely. Please email me when you're ready for all of us, and we can make it happen. It ain't nothing. So yeah.
Absolutely. And where can our community find you?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram. First, you can follow the Mamas. That's themamas.se. And you can follow me. My personal page is ash._.haynes. That's HAYNES.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. And we'll be sure to put that in our copy as well. Once we send this out to our followers and our community, we'll tag you in it as well. And we'll be sure to do a ton more of these in the very near future.
Yeah, other subjects, we're looking to get your perspective on it as well. So hope you be interested in that.
Yeah.
I'm about to be in y'all podcast every episode.
Yeah. You'll be a staple here. Believe me. No, this was awesome. This was dope. And we appreciate you taking out the time. I know we are hours behind you right now, but again, we are thankful for you coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, Ash Haynes, thank you.
So
Celebrating you constantly. And we thank you for being on. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, it is your boy, J.H. Givens.
We'll see.
Yeah.